The Green Suiters podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/The Green Suiters podcast. Before getting into this episode, we'd like to thank the following patrons for pledging at the $3 tier or above: Kyle Foote, Will Hooper, Jim Lindley, and Eric Barber. Thank you for your support. Now, on to the show. Jason.
Yes.
What have you been up to the last 2 weeks? I haven't been on at all for the last 2 weeks.
I know, you've been MIA.
I have been. I think...
Go ahead.
No, I just took like I start school next week, and so I just kind of took a break from everything. Kind of one last deep breath before the semester starts.
Yeah.
How many credit hours you taking?
This is my shortest semester, and I'm only taking 12 hours. Cool. Every other semester's been like 18, I think. 18 or 19.
Yeah. I know that grind.
Yeah, 18 or 19, I definitely wouldn't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. But what have you been up to, Jason?
Besides eating a lot of pizza and wings with Sedge.
Woo, baby!
I started the Walnut dining room table. I'm actually got all my stuff set up on the bottom side of the tabletop right now.
Wait, this isn't the collaboration one, right?
No, with Eric, no. Mm-hmm. I actually just spoke to him the other day, and he's been super busy with the Craftsman's Legacy stuff and his other business. So he hasn't even started on the base yet, which is fine because I haven't even started on the top. So we're kind of just playing that one by ear. That's really not a rush. My goal is to get this table done probably in the next week or two, which I think is completely feasible because the base is pretty much already done minus the final finish work and then obviously the finishing. And then the base I think is going to be fairly straightforward. So it's really just, I've spent more time prepping it already for finish and small little details than I have actually building it. But I got the C channels installed yesterday. I was up in the air about whether or not I was going to do, but I did.
This is the client build, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It's for one
or
of it's
custom build.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
So I want to get this done and out of here, and I'm not rushing it. But really, I've just been spending like the last week trying not to be out in the shop doing other things because Nicole and Leo. By the time this podcast comes out, they'll have been gone for a couple weeks, but they're leaving on Thursday, and so I've really been making an effort to. Not be out here. I came out here a little while on Sunday, or yesterday, which was nice. Got a little bit done, but that's probably all I'll do until Thursday after I drop them off. But when they're gone, all of my free time will be out here. So
you got a lot of stuff.
The other thing I've been doing has to do with the question, so I'll save that.
Do you have a lot of stuff lined up that you're going to try to get done? And when I say a lot of stuff, you'll probably get one of the things done.
Yeah, I kind of want to. Well, now that I'm back at work as normal again, I work way more now than I ever did since being here. But the good news is that now, like, I might get home at 4 or 5 o'clock, and I can be out here until the shop until 10 and take all the time I want. And then on the weekends, I can be out here as much as I want. So I'm going to have a lot of time, but I can only do so much. So. Nicole and I have kind of been talking about a couple things. She wants me to make Leo's bed, so I think that's probably going to be a priority. And then I've been thinking about redoing the laundry room area, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I kind of want to maximize the amount of time I have to like get ahead on content, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I've got like the video schedule for the whole year, and I could probably start leaning forward on a few things. So I'm really trying to follow that schedule big time because I haven't been following the schedule. Mm-hmm. And I think that's been hurting me and my channel, just being so random. I've talked to you about this multiple times. So I'm really just trying to commit like, hey, here's my schedule for the rest of the year. This is what I'm going to do as a minimum. You saw it. I sent it to you.
Yeah.
That is like at a bare minimum, that is what I am going to do for the rest of this year. If I work something in between those videos, great.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to stress over it.
So let's put a pin in that because I want to come back to that.
Okay.
But first, Sedge, tell me about your trip to Maine.
Baby. Well, I do this every year, but it's usually in March. I go to Journal of Light Construction, JLC, Northeast. Oh my God, I saw so many friends up there, but I also met a lot of cool people. They actually knew you, Jason. I was
Weird how that works.
yeah, it was kind of funny. They go, "Hey, I know Jason Bent," but you want something even wicked cooler? They've been listening to the Green Suiters podcast, which I thought was bad to the bone.
That's awesome.
So I left there. We had a wicked good time. Man, they make good beer in New England. and then I went up to see my sister and brother-in-law, and just hung out. I absolutely did nothing for like
That's awesome.
three or 4 days, and I didn't leave my sister's house. We only went out one night for dinner. Guess what I had? Wingies. Said she liked wingies. They had some pretty good ones at the Gridiron in Lewiston, and that's where I grew up, in Lewiston, Maine. So, long story short, it was fun, and thanks for asking. I got back and
Did you get any lobster?
Nope. I'm not a lobster fan. Boy, my
what?
Nah, come on,
Oh,
man.
we're about to pull your main card, man.
No, we're about to pull yours if you like it, because I don't like it either.
No. I didn't say I.
Why am I
like
even
it.
friends with y'all? What's wrong with you people?
But growing up, I had a choice when we had my dad's business. I was out up to camp, and we'd get the whole company there. And my brothers and I, we could either have lobster or steak, and we went for the steak, man. You know, everybody was glomming on lobster, and we just had all the steak we could pump in our mouths. It was awesome, and that was up to camp. Yeah. God, that brings back a hell of a memory. I didn't say I didn't eat good food, man. I had some killer haddock fish and chips with some clam chowder at the Weather Vane in Kittery, right across from the trading post. Kittery. Right across from the... right.
I can't do clam chowder, man.
Oh, dude, they make the bad
Can't
to the
do
bone.
it.
I hadn't had clam chowder for so many years, and about 4 or 5 years ago I just started eating it again, and I forgot how much I liked it.
Jason, do you remember the clam chowder MRE? It was like one of the side. It was like one of the side meals. That's why I can't do clam chowder, because somebody ate it once and it didn't stay down, and so that smell has penetrated my brains and has never left. So that's why
I'm not familiar with clam chowder. I'm a little familiar with clam chowder though.
Whatever.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad that you had an awesome time. I know you've been talking about that for weeks, looking forward to it, and been so long since you've seen your sister and her husband. And
been 2 years, man. Been 2 years because of this pandemic thingy. Yeah, but it was good reconnecting. My brother-in-law is Iron Man. He's such a good dude, and we were out in the woods, and I think I got a little poison ivy, which was nice.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it's in remission now. My little poison ivy.
That's the worst, man. I hate poison ivy.
As I scratch the back of my head.
Yeah.
My youngest, she's a magnet for poison ivy. She's always in it. I always point it out to her. I show it to her. I'm like, "This is poison ivy." She says, "Okay." And then we'll go somewhere else, and I'll say, "What plant is this?" She's like, "I don't know." That's why she's perpetually covered in poison ivy. It's every month she has it. I'm like, why do you keep doing this to yourself? And it doesn't seem to faze her though. Like, she doesn't really care. She'll be like, "Hey Dad, my arm or leg or whatever's itching," and I'll put some calamine on it, and then she's fine after that. I remember being a kid and just being miserable with poison ivy. Same. Like, I hated it. I couldn't do anything else.
I'm pretty sure I'm not allergic to it.
Really? There's a very small percentage that are not. My dad wasn't allergic to it.
I mean, you know it, down at Fort Knox in the summertime for cadet summer training. Like,
oh, it's terrible.
I mean, I was out in the woods where it's
especially
everywhere
Kentucky.
with the rest of the cadets, and laid in it, slept in it, rubbed across, and I've never, ever, ever broken out. So
Wow.
I think I'm one of those lucky few.
Growing up as a kid.
It's hard to get poison ivy when you never get off the fire breaks, Jason.
Well, when I never get out of the van. I didn't say that I was bare skin sleeping in it. My van was just parked on it.
I was in the vicinity of it.
Yeah. It was around. I could tell. I saw a bunch of other kids breaking out, so I just stayed in my van. But I was all over it.
With my tires. My tires were all over it.
Yeah.
Every now and then I rolled my window down, be like, hey, you guys okay out there? All right.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, cadet summer training was very tough for me because I was a first sergeant for 2 of the years. And it would get really, really, really hot outside. But the AC in my car, my van, always worked really good. And sometimes it would get so cold in there, I had to roll the window down just to let some of that cold air out. It's rough.
God.
Leadership 101 right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Lead by example.
In case anybody's wondering, I am going to be doing leadership conferences.
I'll be charging $1,200 for leadership advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, that's how we met, Jason. That's how we met, was at CST.
Me giving you leadership advice, you're right. Oh, no, yeah, Fort Knox, that's right. In the woods, actually.
That's right. It was at the river crossing site, right?
It was. Sedge, one of these days I'll have to tell you the romantic story about how Ben and I met.
Oh, you met in the
It
woods.
was actually... Sometimes I feel bad because I had to be embarrassed fanboying it so much the first time you met me, but,
Because we both weren't on YouTube, that why?
Yeah, it's true.
Did you
I
guys
might have
rub
been
it?
on by then. No?
No, we weren't. Because that was in the fall, and then you and I both, it was that December.
Yeah, it was
we're
right after.
We're we need to do YouTube.
Yeah.
So you guys rubbed each other with poison ivy?
Oh,
We did.
more than that. More than the poison ivy.
More than just poison ivy.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that, but this is not an X-rated podcast.
That's only for the $20 patrons.
Yeah, that's-
Oh, yeah.
We need to start an after show. Dim the lights in the shop.
Oh, boy. So,
What would that segment be called?
don't
Would
go
we-
there. I already got like
Would
4 or
lube.
5 of them.
Yeah. Hey, so Sedge mentioned something on his trip that people are listening to the podcast and giving feedback. The feedback I've received so far has been really good. I mean, there's obviously things that will get better with time, which we've all talked about multiple times now, but I mean, everybody has been saying really good things. So I know the feedback I've gotten, and I've talked to Sedge a little bit. Ben, have you gotten any feedback or talked to anybody about it?
Yeah, I've gotten lots of Instagram messages, a few Patreon messages about how much people like it, and even I have noticed how much we continue to improve it every episode. I feel, and I probably listen to it more than anybody else because I edit it, I make the content for it, and stuff like that, and so it's, I'm always listening to it, and yeah, I mean, I think it's getting a whole lot better, and the feedback certainly is proof of that.
Yeah. I'm going to have to apologize already, Ben, for this one, but I have one of the old Intel-based, not old, but Intel-based MacBook Pros, the IBM.
Yeah.
Or Intel, yeah, whatever the chip. So my fan's running right now, and
Okay. Well,
just so you know.
okay. Well, I can't hear it right
You're
now.
going to hear it. Oh, you can't hear it?
I can't, no. Right now,
Well, I
I
mean,
can't.
last time you said you could hear my air conditioner running, which I think is total BS.
I can't.
Maybe
it's
it's
a
been
low,
my fan.
It's a low hum. It could be your fan. It
I
could be your
cannot
laptop
disagree.
fan. That's why you need to get a new M1 one. That's what I just got.
Believe me. No, that I don't want to go on this tangent, but
Because now I can edit anywhere. I don't
when
have to
all
edit
of
just
this
at home.
stuff happened, when all of this the new M1 stuff came out, I bought the Mac Mini, obviously, and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to do the laptop, but I paid $4,000 for this laptop. And when I went to go trade it in, at the time they were going to give me like $1,800, and the computer was like a year old. And I'm like, man, I mean, this thing is decked out like with everything max you could get at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a hard pill to swallow. And then I went and checked it again. And now they want to give me even less because it's been like 4 months. But I am really definitely considering switching to one of those M1 Max.
Yeah. I traded in my MacBook Air, and I didn't get much for it, but it lessened the blow. But now I can edit literally anywhere. I keep all of my content on a like a really tough external hard drive. It's got like this big rubber foot around it, and I can just plug it into either my laptop or my MacBook at home.
Did you get the bare bones new version?
It's literally the exact same specs as my Mac Mini. The exact same.
It's much faster, isn't it?
Oh, night and day difference.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. You talked me into it.
And
it wasn't very hard.
Like just like with my. Go ahead, Sedge.
Make sure you get that big rubber thing for it.
Yeah, I've got plenty of.
Always wear rubber.
I could probably use for protection.
Oh my god!
You always wear rubber.
I just have to take it and like wrap it around it, the edge.
Unless you're a raw dog. Raw dogs don't wear rubbers.
Where are we going with this? What's the topic tonight, Ben?
Oh my god!
No.
This is
bring
derailing.
Bring it back to the original point, Jason, or that little pin. How you're saying like you felt like really disorganized. Like I feel the same way, man. Like I feel like, and Sedge, I don't know if you've ever felt this way too, but I feel like I never have a grasp on things. Like I'm always reaching for straws. It feels like, whether that's, really just with content and like YouTube stuff and like all the different things that I'm trying to do. And so sometimes I wonder if I'm doing too much, and that's the reason why I feel like I'm not getting anything really done, because right now I'm running 3 YouTube channels. I'm editing the podcast. I'm running 3 Instagram accounts. And so it's like, okay, am I... Because like I love doing all of it. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I feel like that I could be... I'm not doing... What is that saying? You can either do lots of things good or you can do one thing great. And so it's like, is my effort too distributed? Is it too spread out? And that's why everything is just kind of okay. Whereas if I were to just kind of focus and nail down on one thing, I could probably turn it into something a little bit better than what it is. Or do I just kind of keep my nose to the grinding stone and just try to figure out a rhythm?
That would sound like me in the conversations that you've yelled at me for multiple times.
Well, but the thing is that it's not like I know exactly what I need to do for each one of these different channels. Like I know what I need to do to grow them. It's just I'm doing all 3 of them. I'm doing all of them, and like I said, I love doing it. But it's just like, if there's one thing I wish I had, was more time in the day.
Oh yeah.
I wish I had a 50-hour day, not a 24-hour day. But I don't know.
I think the saying is jack of all trades, master of none.
Master of none, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a couple
years. Do you
years
know the rest of it though?
What is it?
It's a jack of all trades, master of none, but there's more to the saying than just that, which a lot of people actually leave out.
What is it?
And it kind of contradicts a little bit of what we were talking about, because I'd have to look it up to find out the exact part, but it's basically talking about how it is.
Excuse me.
It is. Hold on. You could do your thought, and I'm actually going to find the entire saying, because it's an interesting thing to talk about because you brought it up. So go ahead.
Okay, so I've been there. I continue to be there, Ben. There's a time in my life where I had so many distractions, but I said, you know what? I'm going to pare some of it off, and I did. Mm-hmm. That was the best thing I ever did, because one of the things I wanted to concentrate, the two top things in my life are my family, and that was about quite a few years ago, and I wanted to make sure I had a young family. When I married Marianne, she came with two of the most beautiful stepchildren, and I wanted to concentrate on that, and I had to pare a few things off, and I had to concentrate. I really was getting back into woodworking, and you know what? I focused on it. Now, the advice I can tell anybody is you really got to decide what, or you have to get organized, and you gotta set the goals. I'm telling you guys this. You're in the Army, okay, or we're in the Army, and you gotta decide. You know, you gotta set your goals, set your plan to get there, and get organized. Now, I'll tell you what, it's about being organized, because I'm with you on managing a lot of different things, a lot of different social platforms. And I keep adding to it, and I dig the heck out of it. Like, of course, you know this. I've done at Fest, and I've created a spreadsheet for this, so I don't forget, because I want to be the master of all of them.
Me too.
Festool Sedge. We have now Festool Live, and now we have Festool Shop Talk. It's a podcast. Okay, but then I go and start this with two of my greatest friends, Derek and Chris, and I started Sedge Tool. But we also have, and I think you know this, we have a TikTok account. We have all these accounts, and we want to make sure that we supply content for all these different accounts in the Sedge Tool, with sedgetool.com. And Jason has been coaching me a lot on this and how to organize our website and all kinds of things. But I have a list for that as well. And then now we're doing green suitors, and I don't want to fall short on any of these. So, I mean, we decided, I typed up notes for this. Now, the other thing that I tell everybody about being organized, and even guys at work will ask me, how do you remember everything? I write it down. I have 4 or 5 lists. I have journals. I journal everything. I journal my workouts. I try not to miss a day. I'm 7 days a week in my gym. Yes, it's in my house, but it's writing things down. And I just met somebody, and I'm going to call him out because I think the world of this guy. Everybody should follow him. It's Ken Decost.
Oh yeah, he's great.
He's unbelievable cabinet maker. He works with Nick at NS Builders. Hey Nick, how you doing, buddy? You're the bomb. And he.
Hey, did you tell him about our podcast?
I did. The thing I wanted to mention about all of this is he has these killer journals with references in the front. It's called Hive. You guys got to go check these out. They're a leather-bound. I know you. I couldn't believe you had these when we were talking this weekend. Write it down, and I'm going to use that. Those are going to be my journals for my Sedge tool, and I just started using it today. He gave me one at JLC, and I started writing down my outlines and how I want to do content for Sedge tool. Like I got this bow saw build coming up, and it's going to be multiple segments. I don't want to forget them, but when the guys come to the shop on Sunday mornings to shoot, I have my typed up lists of our shot list that day. That way there I can stay focused, and guess what? We can knock this out in a few hours. It's the best advice about being organized is write it down and make sure you set the goals where you want to be with your life. And hopefully that resounds with some folks.
No, it does, and that's so. I guess what is writing? Because I do the same thing. I have 3 huge or 4 massive whiteboards in my bedroom, and anytime something comes to mind that I need to get done, whether that's just in life in general, like something around the house, like I write it down just for that reason, because I now I don't have to spend any energy trying to remember it.
Correct.
But the challenges that I have are staying organized but still being a creative, because like that's I wrestle with that, like, you know, how to express my own voice in the videos that I make between my different channels. Because it's not that, like, I think it's very easy to replicate anybody else. But I don't want to do that because that's not working on me. That's not making the me better, you know.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm very surprised to hear you saying this stuff.
Why?
Because, and you've made it known to me multiple times how you and I have had the same conversation over and over and over again about my business. And a lot of the things that you're saying are all the things that I've told you I feel, and you have always been the compass, I guess, is it, for lack of a better word, that helps me get refocused. I mean, hell, those conversations are why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And to hear you saying this, I mean, I know this isn't to disparage you in any means, but I actually find it kind of interesting to be on the other side of it. And I'm just surprised.
No, so let me clarify. Like right now, I've shot the same video twice with my Livewire, which is it's just a video of like why I sold my old motorcycle and bought the Livewire. That's what it's about. And I shot the first one, which by YouTube standards or by the content that is already out there, it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with the video that I shot, right? But it's like, but when I watch it, I'm like, this is just like everybody else's. Like this is the same format that everybody else goes by. And then I was like, okay, well, I need to change it up a little bit not because it's like I want to be different. It's just like that's just who I am. Like when I see everybody else doing the same thing, there's just something in me that wants to go and do something completely different. You know. Go ahead, Sedge.
You know what's really funny? Is I had this conversation when I was starting Sedge Tool with Mr. Bent. And there's a difference between, you may think, Ben, that everybody's doing the same thing. Jason and I built the same cabinets, kind of.
Yeah. I remember this. Yeah.
But they look at it because of you. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you're going to connect. I mean, we could do the exact same build, okay? But it's going to be different. Jason, how many Microsoft stands are there out there? How many workbench builds? But people glom, people love. I may be holding the tool a little bit different. Someone will go, oh, I never thought of holding it like that. That's what I learned from Garrett Hack, and he said I took this weekend seminar down in Fort Lauderdale about 30 years ago, and he goes, hey, after the whole thing, he's the hand plane guy, and he goes, somebody told me you have a lot of hand planes. You know how to use hand planes. What did you get out of this? And I said, Garrett, it's the way you were holding the wood, the work on the bench. That's what I got out of it. It was my favorite weekend seminar ever. So they're going to get stuff from you. You may think that you're doing the exact same thing as us, but you're not. They watch it for you. And Jason, am I saying something off?
No, not at all. I'm glad you brought that up. Before I say a couple of things, I wanted to go back to that comment or that phrase. So it's actually a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. That is actually the whole saying. A lot of people keep that out because they want to, it's always driven home. A jack of all trades is a master of none. When in reality, that's why I was saying it kind of contradicts what we're saying. The only reason I know that is because there's a thing on TikTok and Reels, and it's like, somebody explains that there's more, and it's like always a backdrop of somebody like renovating their entire house, and which they're proving the point. But I just thought that was interesting when you said that. It made me think about it.
So let me say it like this, right? I know the type of video that I want to make. Like I can see it in my head. My frustration comes in is that I don't currently have the skills to make that video in the way that I envision it, right now, right in this moment. And that's where my frustration comes in, because I could easily go and make a very simple video, right? And it would fall in line exactly with what you're saying, Sedge, that, to other people outside of me, they're going to get something completely different, even though it may follow a very general format that maybe other people have, or I feel that it follows the same format. Again, my frustration is that I want to make something in a way that I see it in my head. It's just I don't know how to do it yet. And I guess my frustration comes in, do I continue to just pump out content in the way that I can do it quickly? It's like, and I'm really sorry for everybody, because it's like I'm literally thinking as I'm talking right now. It's like, do I continue to make videos that I know will get the point across, but I'm not happy with that video?
No.
And it has nothing to do with views or likes or comments. It's just, as me as a creative person, I'm not going to enjoy that movie. Like that, making the video easily does not bring enjoyment to me. Making the video, and that's the thing though. It's like my woodworking channel, there are so many different videos that I know that I can make. And it's, that I know that I can make right now. But going back to what you were saying, Sedge, like you had a young family that you prioritize, and maybe this is me kind of righting some old wrongs, in my previous woodworking ventures, where now I am prioritizing family first, and I'm prioritizing Jen first. And so the videos do take a back burner to everything else, because I'm a single parent. Like, if the grass doesn't get cut, that's on me. I have to do it. If the lunches don't get made, that's on me. I have to do it. And so, I don't know, man. That's what I said. I just wish I had more time.
You have to let the feeling of, I need to get this done because I should be putting up content on a time schedule, cloud you, and just stop worrying about it. If you're not ready to do it now, just spend 3 months making the video that, learning how to edit the way that you want to edit or get your point across, and just don't focus right now, because clearly the content is not your priority.
Yeah.
So don't let the thing that's not your priority stress you out. And I think that's the reason I'm just so surprised that we're having this conversation the other way, because I know every single thing that you're feeling, to a T. Mm-hmm. And the thing that you told me that really helped me out is I need to refocus and prioritize the things that are the most beneficial to me, the things that I really want to chase, instead of just chasing 55 things that that's why my channel's been doing so bad for the last year. It's because I've tried to do too many.
You just make terrible content.
I know, it's just awful. It's just the worst, and that's why the world hates. That's why the world hates Jason, and they write all these dumb comments.
No,
so I completely understand. But for me, our conversations helped me. Ben, I made a schedule for my videos for the rest of the year. That's because of you, right?
Yeah.
Because I was the one that was all over the place and stressed about time, and I just, if I don't have something, I'm not gonna post it. And that's helped me with Instagram. It's helped me with everything. Am I seeing the growth? No, but guess what? If you take your time to learn those things that you want to make yourself different from everybody else, when you do finally get it, if you are able to illustrate things in a way that nobody else is doing and meets your vision, not only will you be happier, but it might be something different than everybody else. So it might pay off in the long run.
Yeah. No, you're right. And just as I said before, my priorities are my kids, and it is Jen. They come before either all of my channels.
Where am I?
Yeah.
You're below Sedge. You're below Sedge.
Oh man.
So there's Jason.
Wow.
Well, let me back up, and then there's Sedge a little bit above, and then we're gonna jump up a whole lot, and then there's Leo and Nicole and Marianne. And then Capex and Sedge's other two dogs. I can't remember their names right now.
Guinness and Dublin.
Guinness and Dublin, yeah. And then there's Bella and Pepper.
Mm.
No, it's joking. No, that's, I guess, I don't know. It's just like, I mean, I do have, my semester starts next week, and it's just like, I just want to make videos, like that's all I want to do. Mm. And it's like, I hate the thought of, like, I don't want to say slowing down, because I have slowed down on video content. And like, even though I haven't published a whole lot of videos, like I still edit videos every day. I still learn new things every day. I still am learning how to do things. And I guess it just frustrates me that it's not the priority right now, But I guess I just got to suck it up for another 8 months or so until I graduate school.
No, yeah. I'm glad you just said that, right? Because that is exactly. I was just having this conversation with Nicole like a week or two ago, maybe a little bit longer, but her and I had a big conversation about like Bent's Woodworking as a business, and I need to start treating it as a business and not putting it on the back burner. Because quite honestly, I did get to the point now where I was kind of like, oh, I can just, do stuff as I need to, and I'll take the time off. And then it's like, no, I start to feel this stress of like, well, this is going to go away at some point. This is going to go away at some point. Brand deals are not permanent, and this needs to be a priority for us. And at the end of the day, like for the next year, I have all these things that I want to do. I have all of these things that I want to do. You both know where I want my business to go and what I want to specialize in when I retire. Mm-hmm. I cannot do it right now.
Well,
I tried. I can't do it right now. So I know
midget stripper bar. It's not going to grow itself, Jason.
Yes,
it can wait. Good ideas now can wait.
It will.
Yeah.
Yes, it will. Yes,
Jason
it will.
Jason Bent's midget stripper bar. It's going to happen.
Yep. Greenwood, Indiana, everybody. Come on down.
Sedge's Bent Tool.
Sedge's Bent Tool. Yep. That was going to be the name of this, of mine and Sedge's YouTube channel. Sedge's Bent Tool. But in all honesty, though, like, just forget about it. For the next 8 months, you can't do it. Good. You're the one that told me this.
Sucks.
And, oh, man, I'm so glad I get to throw this right back in your face. I love being you right now. Is this what it feels like to be you, by the way? Just condescending and just a total a-hole. Is this what it feels like?
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. I love you. But let me say something. A very smart man. Well, kind of smart. He was a Cav Scout. But
oh man, shots fired.
Yeah, he told me, and now I really hope I remember it, because this will all be for nothing. And I don't, because I just went off on a tangent there. What did you say before I went off on that little tangent?
What? Like I'm going to remember that.
Dang it.
No, it just that I know that I have to, it frustrates me, or I just want to make videos, and so I know that for the next 8 months I have to stop.
A good idea now will be a good idea later on.
That's right. That's true.
That's what you told me all the time. And that's why I'm like, you know what? Like, you were the reason why I stopped pursuing the educational courses and all that kind of stuff that I want to do. It's a great idea. I don't have time for it right now. So what do I have time for? What can I control in the limited amount of time that I have? And that's what I'm going to focus on and put more effort back into YouTube and everything else. And so, yeah.
It just sucks, man, because like I look at all my channels every day, and my Ben Marshall Designs YouTube channel, I get 10 subs every day.
Yeah.
Like I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers, and when I released my last video, I had just hit 1,000. So I've gained 1,000 subscribers, not even releasing a video.
Are you monetized?
Yes.
So I think, especially now in your situation, going to school and all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, you're running 3 Instagrams, and you're running 3 YouTubes essentially, and doing the editing and doing school and all that stuff. You just need to prioritize which one of those and one of them might have to go on the back burner. And if it's the motorcycle one for now, but riding the motorcycle gives you joy and happiness, great. But if YouTube and that's generating revenue for you, which is actually something that you can benefit from, and then the green suitors trying to help grow that audience.
It might be something good to have there whenever I'm done with
Yeah,
school.
and then when you do build those audiences, you can cross promote the stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
That's
so
true.
I just wouldn't stress about trying to grow all three at the same time. I mean, one is enough, let alone trying to do 2, 3, 4, and actually trying to get growth out of it.
But Jason, I got to pay off this G7 private jet that our patrons paid for.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
You know?
I mean, I paid cash for my Ferrari thanks to the patrons. Thank you. Sedge got a new Pica.
Yep. You got a new picker.
Sedge, what's your take on all this, man? And then we can go on to the main topic.
Guys,
God, we still have a topic?
everybody has been there, and I'm seeing you guys flip-flop where now the tides have turned and you're asking advice from Jason, and I've been there with you guys.
Oh, I wasn't asking.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Oh, yes, you were.
But the thing
God, that
is
felt so good.
this is life. Everybody gets
Yeah.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, try to chill. By the way, I've been there. I still to this day get overwhelmed. But I often think, or I take a deep breath, and I just chill for a moment. I walk away. I walk away from things all the time, just so I don't get stressed about it. Because I know the path I have selected over the years has been true to my heart. And I'll tell you what, you guys have both said this. I know this of you. Your focus and your top priorities are your families, and that's what matters the most. Okay, so just you'll get focused, and then you'll get focused, and you'll go for a jag for about 5-6 years, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed again. This is life. I tell people, just chill, dude. It'll happen. We all go through it. Everybody goes through this. I bet you all the listeners are all like shaking their heads going, yep, been there, done that, when we were talking just now. So that's my take on it. What are we doing tonight?
Yeah. We are taking a topic from one of our patrons. This is one of the benefits of being one of our top tier patrons. The last clamp is what we call them, because they're the ones that hold all this.
Last clamp.
They're the ones that hold this crap together, right? You can have all the glue you want. You can have clean cuts, but unless you don't have any clamps, it ain't gonna hold together.
Nice.
So this was one of our very first top tier patrons. It is. I want to make sure I get his name right.
Chad Hibbs.
Yeah, Chad from Hickory Custom Builds.
Great.
And
Hey, Chad.
So one of the benefits of being a top patron is you get to pick the topic of the show that we kind of boil down and discuss ad nauseum. And I thought that this is a really good one. And so Chad said, outside of shop size, what's one thing about your current shop that you wish you had or could change? Tools, layout, location, etc. Jason, we know that you wish you had Makita instead of Festool, so we'll just kind of skip over you.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I
So
think
am
it's
I allowed to
really.
say that contractually? I can't even joke about it, can I?
I think it's a really great topic, and so Sedge, we'll let you go first if that's good with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
He has notes for this.
I do. So the caveat is not shop size, correct?
Yeah, it said outside of shop size, what's one thing about your current shop that you wish you had or could change?
Okay, some quick advice to everybody right there. You can never have a big enough shop. You can never have enough clamps. Right? Everybody says that. Those are
That's
true.
right. That's right.
I mean, I moved into
Absolutely.
a 1,800 square foot shop with my business partner and looked around and go, "Oh my God, this is awesome! It's cavernous." No, we sucked up all the space within a week. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's my note on shop size. You can never have a big enough shop. But you got to organize your shop so you're not walking onto the other side. Like I had a drill press on one side of my shop at one time, and I was constantly moving and walking back and forth. I try to organize my shop like a kitchen. You know, the golden triangle inside a kitchen.
What's that?
You guys know what I'm
No,
talking about?
I don't know what a golden triangle is.
Yes.
Stove, refrigerator, sink. And they should all be in close proximity. That's your triangle.
Oh, okay.
Okay? When you're whether building or organizing your kitchen. You don't want to take a lot of
I thought you were
steps.
talking about like a Kama Sutra move.
Well,
You said yellow triangle. I was like...
You okay. Don't get me going.
Why are you getting so red?
Sedge!
Oh.
Naughty boy!
You behave. Okay, so let's get back to the topic. If I could change anything in my shop, Jason, what would it be?
Oh.
Because you talk to Marianne about this every single weekend.
Floors?
Your floors.
Yeah. And I've been giving this a lot
I
of
still
thought.
don't know why you haven't got it yet.
Well, I've been putting it off because you know I have a ton of stuff in here and I don't want to move it. I know we've talked about it and stuff like that. I have to schedule it, and it has to be the right time. I'm not going to do it this winter. I got too much going on this fall, so I'm looking toward the spring. Okay, but I got to rent some pods, put it outside, get a bunch of taps to move everything out. And I need to do it because right now I'm on concrete with, several sheets of 4x8 MDF, which is basically 3.5 millimeters. I got it at work because we used it in one of our warehouses, and they were throwing it away, so I hoisted it. It's worked great. It's comfortable on the legs, but I'm constantly here and there sanding it a little bit to get rid of some of the staining that comes up with it. I like it. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's light enough. If I can coach anybody, a lot of my shops have had, over the years, light gray epoxy floors that, because with these new American green light fluorescents, it will really pop. So I'm going to go with something like you have, Jace. I go every weekend. I'm over at your shop. You know, that floor is wicked. It's comfortable and it's clean. But the best part about it is there's the color of it, because that reflects those fluorescents or those LEDs that we now have. And being at your shop, I have changed a lot. American green lights, LEDs are one of the best investments. Lighting. It's been night and day. I did the Sidewinder to get rid of all my garage door strutting. I do high bays on my door. That was a huge bump. But it's the one thing I have to do is the floor.
You guys heard it here first. Sedge basically just said he wants to be like Jason Bent.
And so out of everything else,
boy.
You're
Boy,
welcome
you had
for
me
my friendship.
You had me speechless there for a minute. Oh my God.
but Sedge, what is it about the floor that would really change like your shop? I mean, like, why is that the one thing that like you want to have next, I guess? Like, what is it going to do for you?
It's not going to be my next, but it's going to be one of my. It just gives a clean look. But it's the reflectivity. My buddy Ralph taught me that. He goes, you don't want to have a dull floor because you want that reflectivity. Because you want a light floor. You wanted epoxy, he taught me. And that was the one thing I always remembered in his shop. It was so much brighter than any shop that I worked in. And I was just like, oh, why is that? He showed me the floor. He goes, it's the floor. When I moved in here, I painted the floor. I epoxied the floor. But I didn't think...
One thing that I will say, though, about your shop, with that flooring, Sedge, is that it has some reflectivity to it, but in a different way. And what I mean by that is when I go in your shop, like, yes, it's bright, but it also feels warm. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because of those floors. And I'm not saying that to talk you out of it. Yeah. But it's just a different feel. But I mean, I think, like Sedge, you've got so many tools that you've collected over the years. So, I mean, I'm not surprised at all that was your answer or something along those lines, because I think it does become more of a creature comfort type thing. Because here's why I'm not surprised that is one of your options. You love being in the shop, and you want to love the space that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that is like how I am in my shop, and why like I painted the walls the same color as the interior of our home, why I put these lights in here, why I like to have nice cabinets and stuff like that. This is where I spend the most of my time. So like, yeah, I'm not really surprised at all. You know what I mean? I think that's a great option, because I mean, really, there's not many things that you need in your shop in terms of tools. That's for sure.
Well, the nice thing I just did is I just turned on my Mr. Cool mini split, and that was another killer investment, because I didn't know if it would keep up for heating last winter, and it never skipped a beat. This is Mary Ann walks out here and she hangs out with me in the winter and the summer, because I have the AC and I also have the heat. You want to make that space comfortable, and that's what I've done here.
Mm-hmm.
So since you brought that up, and this is kind of on topic, this isn't my option because I already have one, obviously, but I think, Sedge, you got one, and let's see if you back me up on this. Out of all of the things that you could do to your shop, if you know it's a place that you're going to be all the time, how important and how much money would you be willing to invest in making sure that you have a good climate?
Well, I started out with for me in the wintertime, and that's a really good point, because there's a lot of cool things about it. No pun intended. I had a little propane salamander that I called a Mr. Heater. I sold it, and then I got a more of a convection propane heater. But here's the thing about the Mr. Cool, I don't have to worry about now. It's spraying in the wintertime in here, because when you have those heaters, you got to be so careful if you're spraying lacquer. So I think it is very important to be comfortable in your shop, because guess what? Now you want to be out there. I added a 3-car or 756 square feet of home, because my shop is my home. This is the first time in my life I've had a shop at the house. I've always had a shop away from the home.
Right.
But boy, it's nice walking out here at 2 a.m. when I get an idea in my head, and I can work it out. You know, if I'm not sleeping that night or whatever, if I'm rolling around in bed thinking, what if I did this? I say, to hell with it. I just walk down to the shop now, and it's so awesome. But here's the thing, also. I've taken a lot of the stuff I've accumulated over the years and threw it into a 3-car garage. And
3-saw garage? You got woodworking on your mind.
Yeah, and it's a lot. Like, I am paring off some stuff, believe it or not. I sold a sharpening system this weekend. And guess what? I did it on Craigslist, and I met a really cool guy named Rocky over in Brownsburg. He's a hell of a woodworker. He retired dude, you know. So I look at things sometimes in the shop, and boy, I'm a tough one with this, guys. I look at something, I go, oh yeah, I haven't touched that for about 3 or 4 years. I'm gonna try to sell that, and then all of a sudden I go, as soon as I sell it, I'm gonna need it.
We talked about that last time.
I think we talked about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, Sedge, the reason I asked that question about the climate control, because you brought it up, and I would like to go last on this question if I could, because I'm actually still having a hard time figuring out, but I want to share a problem that I've been having over the past week or so, but because it relates to this topic. But looking at it now, I want to bring this up because Sedge has climate control. I have climate control. And Ben, yours is in your basement, correct?
Yeah, I don't need it.
So it's naturally cooler down there, right?
Yeah, and I have a fireplace down there, so I don't have to worry about it.
So if going into a new shop, I think this is the one thing that a lot of people will take for granted and not think about and think it's not that important. But excuse me, any shop that I build, because we will not stay here forever. Matter of fact, we'll probably move within the next 24 months. When I'm looking at my next shop, one thing that I will be willing to really, really invest in will be the climate control. And the reason I say that is because, yeah, the Mr. Cool's great. It's very affordable. But I get a lot of questions from people, and they ask, hey, which BTU unit do you have? Do you think it'll do a good job in my shop? It's X amount of square feet. And it's kind of frustrating sometimes because people have this misconception that, oh, if I put a mini split in my garage, it's going to make it good. Well, if you don't have any insulation, having a mini split is like putting a Band-Aid on a, what's that saying?
Amputation. Yeah.
Yeah, a Band-Aid on the amputation. Like, it's going to run constantly and it's never going to be as effective as it would. So, like, it doesn't just stop with a mini split. That is one of the most, if you're going to be out in that shop a lot, especially if you're doing this as a business, I would invest more money initially in the climate control than I would dust collection.
Yeah.
And I want to bring that up just because when Sedge mentioned that, I think it's a great topic for this conversation. It is vitally important because if you don't enjoy the space that you're working in, if you're not comfortable, you're not going to want to be out there.
Correct.
And that is the greatest thing I put in my shop with all of the modifications, because in the wintertime I'm warm and in the summertime I am cool, and it is just absolutely phenomenal, and it is worth the money, and it is worth getting insulation to make that space comfortable.
And also, Jason, I think people look at a mini split and they think it's really hard installation. It really isn't, is it, Jason?
No, not at all.
Not if you know Jason Bent. He installed mine.
In all fairness, yeah, with the Mr. Cool. I'm not advocating for somebody to go buy like a Mitsubishi and try to do it and pull the lines and all this other stuff. But there are affordable options out there. And I mean, heck, I've been here for a year and a half?
Yep. And
thing still runs just as strong today as, and now that I said I'm knock on wood, right?
Now it's going to break.
It runs fantastic. And I'll tell you what, if it breaks, like, I will not even bat an eyelash. I will get another one. I will buy another unit and immediately get it installed because I understand the value. And I just think that's very, 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 very important for a shop.
Yes. Easy installation. It's worth every single penny.
Yeah.
You know, those are really good points, Jason. And Jason, I think that, at least for me, you really kind of hit the nail on the head where, you know, like this is your space. You know, like you should want to be surrounded in your space, not because of what you do in there, but because the space is yours. And, you know, like I said, you were talking about the floors and how you want to be bright and reflective, and because mine are still bare concrete, and it is, and like, and my ceiling is exposed, but that's because I had to tear everything down. Like, it does feel really kind of drab in there. Like, it's not a very bright space. It's an unfinished basement at the moment. And not that I still enjoy being down there, but I think that I would love it more if it were like complete, or at least the shop part of the basement were complete. But I have to get the flooding situation solved first. But those are really good points, and you know, it's purely cosmetic, but at the end of the day, like, you know, that, just like you guys said, that's your space. You know, you want to be comfortable, you want to enjoy being in it, even if you're not doing anything. So I think those are really good points. For me, you know, and Chad, I'm going to cheat a little bit because I have a practical thing that I would want to change about my shop right now, and then one is a little bit more long-lived, and Jason knows about this one tool that I've been wanting for the last probably 2 years. The first thing is I need to get a rip blade. I've been ripping lumber a lot, and I think I talked about this 2 podcasts ago where I'm building Jen a door for her bathroom. Still having trouble finding or getting a hold of one of my local dealers. I've gone by their shops for the last week, but they're just not there. I don't know where they're at. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, I ripped some red and white oak a few days ago, at least at the time of this recording.
Is this for your TS-75?
Yeah, for the TS-75. And I had to make 2 passes because they were, I think I planed them down to 70 millimeters. And I tried going full depth, and it could have kept going, but it was starting to burn the wood. And so I was like, okay, I'll do 35 millimeter passes, and it worked flawlessly. Like, even though I made 2 passes on each rip that I made, I think I ripped them down to 35 millimeters, and there was no rip line whatsoever. Like, they came out perfectly parallel coplane rips, which I was really surprised by. But
Hey, I'm sorry. Before you go on, you need a ripping blade for your TS-75 or a crosscut blade?
Ripping.
The ripping blade comes with a TS-75.
No. It comes with
36 tooth.
Yeah, I need a 24
it's more of a
tooth.
general purpose.
Yeah, I need.
So he wants the Panther blade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. Continue, please. I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, like, I was so surprised that it came out perfect. That it was a coplane rip. You know, the only reason why I want to
festival performs well.
The only reason why I want to
I almost would have never guessed that.
For those of you that are listening, Sedge is really freaking out. Sedge, explain your reaction.
Is it Tommy Boy? Oh no, the Bears! Yeah. Oh, hitting my chest. The Bears. The Bears. Oh, you guys are killing me. I was surprised it came out good.
Oh, no, I'm with you, Sedge. I'm just being funny about it, but like.
Hey, listen, can I comment on that really quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I was down. I'm going to call him out because this guy is so cool. Down at Indie Urban Hardwoods, Brian, and he was having a problem with his 75, and he was filming me because I had to cut down something, and I was doing it in a single pass. I did it, but he goes, he's going for a single pass. I see everybody do multiple passes. He had the wrong blade on there. I still did it in a single pass. Okay? And 2, that blade was dull as snot and dirty. Okay? So clean your blades. But so when I went back, I showed him the rip blade. Because I went and I tuned up, I grabbed it, and I said, I'm taking this with me back to Festool. I'll get it down to you. He goes, I use this all the time. I go, I'll have this back to you in a couple of days. The toe of the saw was out, and it wasn't performing as it should because he had dropped it a few times. Like we always drop tools. So you're right on with that, Ben. You need the ripping blade. You can do it in a single pass. And it'll come out absolutely perfect. Sorry.
And I had that thought
1,000 times.
Oh no, and I had the thought that I should probably clean the blade, because it has been a while since I've cleaned it. Yeah. But and I say that I was surprised that it came out clean and coplane with the parallel guides, the guide rail, and the TS-75 with the general purpose blade. Only because I know that I've when I had a rigid 1512 or whatever the big table box saw is, I would rip boards on it and they would come out, chattered or, off kit or whatever. But they are literally flawless rips. And I'm not exaggerating. And I put it in my stories. I should probably make a post because I still have these rip boards down in my basement. They're flawless. And that's what just blows my mind is just how flawless they are. But I wish I had a rip blade so that I could have just done it quicker. That's the only reason why I want a rip blade. And so that I'm not, dulling up the only other blade that I have. So I'm probably going to pick up a Panther blade tomorrow. But the other one, and you guys, what are you shaking your head about, Jason?
Nothing.
What are you shaking your head about?
Nothing. I sent you a text message. We're recording though. What's the other thing?
Oh. Okay, so what is the one tool, Jason, that I almost dropped a lot of money down on to get shipped over?
Festival table saw.
Yeah, the CS70. So
I've seen one before.
Yeah, I've seen one too. Sedge, have you seen one?
I know a bald Eskimo.
I have one.
So I have a friend. She just got stationed in Italy, and I want to say she's on a 2-year assignment. And so whenever she gets like 6 to 8 months away from moving back, because this is her last duty station, she's retiring after that. And so for those of you that don't know, when you're in Europe in the military, your stuff gets shipped at no cost to you. And so you typically have a weight limit, but she's
to a certain weight, yeah.
Yeah, she's single. She doesn't have any kids or family or anything like that. So it's just her. So she has she doesn't have a whole lot of stuff. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to talk to you in about 18 months, and I'm going to order a tool to come to your house, and I want you to put it in with your stuff. And she's like, all right, whatever.
Nice.
So yeah, so in about 18 months, I want to get the CS70, even though. Go ahead, Setch. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
I just threw one away. It was up on the mezzanine, and it was just taking up space. I wish I knew. I just threw it in the crusher dumpster at work just to get rid of it.
And there was a bunch of dominoes sitting on top of it that he had to throw away first to throw away the table saw.
You put some DF500s in there too, didn't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
No. A couple track
It
saws.
was just sitting there.
Yeah, just
some guide
sitting there
rails.
collecting dust and just got to get rid of it.
You guys got to clear inventory.
You guys know.
But no, Chad, to answer your question, yeah, no, we're not fazed by it anymore. Chad, to answer your question, I even though I can completely get by I have gotten by in my shop without a table saw, I've built every single piece of furniture in my house, and I've never used a table saw for any of it. Everything has been done with parallel guides, a guide rail, and a TS75. Those three things you can do anything a table saw can do for the most part. But there have been so many times where, again, it just comes down to time. It's like, man, if I had a table saw, I could just knock this out, quicker. But I don't know. There's just something about the CS70. Like, I just love it. Everything I have in my shop is pretty much Festool, with the exception of my thickness planer.
Gross.
If Festool made a thickness planer, I would have a Festool thickness planer.
I was so proud of you until you bought that.
I had no other choice.
No, you could buy a hammer. At least it's yours.
It's a lot of money. But
You look quite
yeah.
stoic there. Do that pose again.
Thank you.
Do that pose again. No, Jason, look. He's
hammer. But no, I see a 70. I just want one.
I don't. Hey, you know what, Ben? I can't
have
fault
it,
you for that one because
I want to hug it and love it.
I'll wait till it's my turn.
Why? Because you want to get rid of yours? You want to sell your table saw?
No, I do want to talk about it though.
And then the other thing, and this is more of a big one, which is I really wish that I had asphalt that led up to because I have a walkout basement. I really wish that I had asphalt that led up to it, because anytime I have to bring stock goods or lumber to my basement, I have to drive through my yard, and it would just be much easier if I had like an asphalt driveway that went straight to the road, which I don't have. So that would be the other thing that I would want to have. But those are my three things. Even though Chad only asked for the one thing, but I want to dream.
Chad, he just wanted to be better than the other two of us.
No.
Showstopper.
All right. That's right, Jason. We've all waited. This is your moment to shine, buddy.
It's every day, all day. But
Oh,
this is yeah. We still recording? Is this mic on? This is a hard one for me, and I've been thinking about this for days, and I'm having a very difficult time coming up with something because most things are usually based around size, and I'll get into that in a second. But there's a couple things that like come to mind immediately. One of them was the climate control. The other one was every single place you put an outlet, I would make it a quad outlet and have two 110 outlets and two 220 outlets. So no matter what outlet you're at, you can have the opportunity for both. That's a mistake that I made in the shop. And I considered it at the time, and then I was like, no, I'll be all right. Outside of more space, man, it's difficult. So I have an obsession with efficiency. I have an obsession with trying to put things into a place. The less things I have to move in order to use something, the more successful I think I am being. And I'm bringing that up because that is always something that I have tried to, like efficiency and shop layout. First of all, I don't think there's any such thing as having the perfectly laid out shop for anybody, because not one, your interests change, your skills change, your business changes, the different things you're making changes. So there's no perfect layout for everything. So I just want to make that clear. And I have changed dramatically over the years. And one of my things with coming back into this shop was, okay, I'm in a 20 by 30 3-car garage, which is on the smaller side of a 3-car garage. While it is larger than my previous shop, I don't feel like I have any more space in here that I did in my other shop. And the reason that is because the bigger the shop you get, the more tools you put in it. And if you have more space, you're going to fill it because you have that space. And if you don't fill it, you feel like you're wasting that space. And I think it's years down the road that you get to a point where you can kind of go, okay, I understand the value of that space and I don't want to fill it. And so now I find myself in a position where, okay, I'm in an environment that most other people are in. And I'm not talking about size, I'm talking about a garage. Because I would say that probably 90+% of my audience, your audience, Ben, and your audience, Sedge, they're not working in gigantic shops. They're working in a garage. Mm-hmm. So my goal and the way that I try to do things is always based on how can I set something up to where I have to make the least amount of movement in order to utilize all these tools, have them hooked up to dust collection, to do whatever. And I've gotten it to the point where on the rare occasion I might have to move my router table if I'm doing something really long, and if I need to use my drum sander, I pull it out. Those are two tools I'm okay with doing that because I don't use them very often. But when it comes to my table saw, my joiner planer, I don't want to be moving those things in order to utilize the tool because I use them so much. My assembly table, I surely would not want to move my assembly table to use it, right? And for me in my shop, everything revolves around an assembly table. This is the heart of my shop. Everything I do starts, ends, is built. Everything is done on my assembly table. Like my table saw is definitely not the heart of my shop at all. But now I find myself, the reason why this has been so difficult for me to come up with an answer is because over the last week, I've really struggled with a new tool that I got. And that is the overarm dust collection from Harvey. And so the issue that I'm having, the layout that I have right now with the cluster of the table saw, the bandsaw, the drill press, and the joiner planer combo, all kind of in this centralized location, is fantastic. I love the joiner planer where it is because I'm taking boards from the assembly table, running them through the joiner, putting them back on the assembly table. Same thing with the planer. assembly table, planer, assembly table, planer, assembly table, planer. It's all right there. It's all so easy. I don't have to move, right? So I'm like, this is a success. Well, then I got the overarm dust collection from Harvey. What I didn't know, and this is my own fault, is that that overarm dust collector is designed for a 52-inch table. Specifically theirs. However, it is compatible with multiple table saws. Grizzly, SawStop, Harvey, there's probably a couple others. And so the issue that I'm having is I have a 36-inch table saw. Well, guess where the rest of that space is? It's to the right of the table saw. And so now I have this bar that comes out, and it does affect the use of my joiner planer combo unless I move my joiner planer combo, giving me less space somewhere else. So I say all of that to get back to the point of, that's why this is hard for me to answer, because my immediate answer is I wish I had more space and this would not be an issue at all. So I don't really know what I would necessarily change minus the electrical part, but you're always going to find yourself in a position, no matter how big your shop is, no matter how long you've had a shop laid out a certain way, you're constantly going to be identifying things that are going to make you question what you're doing. And this is a perfect example. Like, you know, I've thought about chopping this thing down. I mean, this is steel and cast iron. This is a very well built overarm dust collection, but I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to use it. I want to test its capabilities. I want to form my opinions on it. But at what cost am I going to do that? Well, then of course Nicole comes out in the shop and she makes me realize I'm overthinking it. And she's like, well, just move it out of the way if you need to. I'm like, okay, thanks, honey, as usual. But no, she really did. And she kind of like brought me back down to earth and was like, well, if you can swing it forward, why don't you just swing it forward for when you need to do that? But then again, that goes back to my, like, where I'm so passionate about, and that is putting things in a position to where you don't have to do that. So when I have to do that, it's very tough for me. And I know that's silly, but I'm trying to come up with really good solutions that might help other people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so it's not about the way I work. I want to, like, this is why I put this here, and this is why I put it here. This is the benefit. This is what I'm able to achieve. And then that might help somebody else. And so when I have to do that, like, oh, I have this in my shop. Well, now I got to move this. And then people are going to be like, well, why did you put that in your shop? You know, like, if it's a pain in the butt. And so, but I don't have enough data yet to formulate any sort of opinion. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the bottom line is, like, if I had more space, that'd be great. But guess what? If I had more space, I'd have a much larger layout, and then I would just be putting more tools in there because I have more space, and I'm going to run into this issue again. So all of this has led me to actually start looking at the layout of my shop. And that's why I wanted to talk about that, because one of the things said, like, shop layout, all this other stuff. When I really thought that I had this dialed in, right? I thought I had this dialed in, and it takes me back to my experience when I was still in Georgia. I went out to go visit Jay, and matter of fact, I think it was the trip that I went to go pick up the CNC machine. And I remember sitting with him, and he was like, hey man, let's get on SketchUp, because he's so good at SketchUp. It's disgusting, really. It makes me sick to my stomach how good he is and how much I suck. But he
just
lays
like everything
out
else.
Right, exactly. He lays out my shop in like 8 or 9 configurations in like an hour. And I just wanted to hit him in his face, right? Because I was just like, I would still be trying to build the first cabinet on a miter saw station. And he just like throws all this shit in there and moves it around. And I'm like, wow, you are a jerk and I love you. And it was really, really interesting. This is important. And I think that this will help a lot of people. It's really interesting to go into that meeting with him with an idea in my head on what I wanted my shop to be and walk away from it completely different than my original ideas, because I was able to look at it, see it, hear another person's perspective, it was totally eye-opening for me. And there's a lot of good software. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to use SketchUp. Matter of fact, Benchtop Woodworks, I think, on Instagram. Matter of fact, he's in the military. And yeah, I think it's Benchtop Woodworks. He offers all kinds of like cool stuff. He has like a PowerPoint presentation that you can like, he has all these mocked up scale things. Like you can put your shop size and move all this stuff around. And I would suggest anybody does that because, or something similar to that, because until you actually see it, you don't know. Until you actually work in it, you don't know. And so now I find myself in a position where I've spent all this time setting up this shop and I might completely change everything. And I know Sedge has been doing this a lot lately too. Every single, I go to Sedge's house, every other week? At this point, and you come down here every other week? Every time I go up there over the past 3 months, something is different. Because you've been thinking about things, especially now that you're doing video content. What would set up better for teaching somebody else, for shooting video, for doing all these things, got these new lights, all this stuff. So it's constantly changing. There's never going to be a perfect solution. There might be things that you hone in and yeah, there's never going to be one.
Thank you. You're always tweaking layout to maximize
100%.
your efficiency. Right when you think you get it dialed in, that's boring. You always want to save those few extra steps. So you think, okay, I'll just move this over here. Big D, Derek, who's in the videos with me, he's always trying. He goes, I only want to do it once. I start laughing. You want to talk about getting overwhelmed? He's getting overwhelmed. Jason, he loved it when you gave him his that miter saw stand that you had previous. He went right to town on it and set it up. But I looked at him and he's going, now I'm working on this. I go, you're always going to be working on your shop as well as building stuff for the house.
Absolutely.
So it goes back, Ben, right when we were talking about earlier. People get too overwhelmed. And you want to make that space when you walk out as efficient as possible. Jason, I think when we were talking, I'm going to say one thing. That overarm dust collection is extremely well built. I was blown away that when you could actually swivel it out of the way that easy. And I could, the way you have your setup in your shop.
Towards me versus away from me.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I really like about it.
I remember when and I was telling you,
you can do it either way. But
when that Beastmeyer overarm blade first came out, there was a lot of tweaks that you had to do to it, but it was stationary. It didn't move, so I kind of freaked out when you could move it. That's all I have to say. Sorry, I interrupted, Jiz.
No, you're fine. I mean, I feel like I've probably rambled on there for quite some time, but I guess I don't really know if I gave him an answer other than the electrical part and the climate control. But, in terms of changing something about my shop, besides size, I'm happy with my shop. I'm happy with my space. There's some layout issues, and I just keep finding myself wondering, could it be better? Because it is mind-blowing how much of a difference moving something 3 feet can make. It is absolutely incredible. And when you're in like Chad actually has a pretty good sized shop. Like he has a really nice layout. He has a big shop, so he's got plenty of space. But when you get into these smaller space areas, like there's never going to be a perfect solution to like, well, what if I need to rip an 8-foot board? I need to have 8 foot on one side, 8 foot on the other. Like, no, you really don't, unless you're ripping 8-foot boards constantly. Otherwise, put it in an area. You know what I mean? So it's different for everybody. You have to make concessions unless you have a 100 by 100 square foot shop.
I guess the walkaway would be, and just based off of what you're saying, Jason, is that don't ever block yourself into something that you can't get out of.
Right.
Don't ever make a decision that you can't reverse or revert back to in a few months, because just how you're saying, like, things are always kind of changing and evolving, and just don't paint yourself in a corner when it comes to shop layout and stuff.
Correct.
But like I said, I think that was a great topic, and I think that it's something that everybody kind of kind of struggles with and deals with, and you know, like, what am I going to get next? What's going to make me better? Because we all have different focuses of like what kind of guides us in how we set up our shops and stuff. And so, like, you know, Jason, like, you're all about efficiency. I'm all about saving time, and you know, Sedge is about how comfortable his feet feel on the floor.
Right, 100%.
You know,
and how good he looks in his lighting.
And Jason,
right.
I think
How
one of the
close his
things
fridge
you
is.
need in your shop is more hand.
Is a life-size picture of you.
Is more hand.
a cardboard cutout.
Oh my God, Sedge. First of all, to answer your question, no.
Oh, Patrick, if you're listening, I will put a headlock on him and give him some knees.
Patrick might come out while Nicole's gone, possibly. Also, Chad, the one that did this question, he might be coming down to visit. So if he does, we're gonna go out and eat some wings.
Hopefully, we get a poker game some Saturday night up in Detroit.
Yeah, that'll happen. Sedge, I want a life-size cutout of you in my shop. At least your face. I swear I will put it up in the backdrop of every video.
Called Fatheads?
I want a full
I want a Sedge
to
fat
scale,
well,
full to scale cardboard cutout.
That they contacted me, Fatheads, and they wanted to use my natural size head for the fat head. I'm just kidding.
You should.
No cutouts. No, did I ever tell you I had a?
I'm gonna do it. You can't stop me.
Years and years ago, at a store I was working at in Fort Lauderdale, they had this stand-up poster of Norm Abram with his arm hanging on the new Yankee Workshop sign. They threw it away. So I went out back and grabbed it. I put it up in my shop and tacked it to the back of it. So when I opened up the garage door, sometimes I'd go, oh, jeez, it'd scare me. I had a life-size thing of Norm Abram. So I'm out to dinner years and years later, and I'm sitting with Norm at dinner, and the crew of This Old House and Marianne was there. And you know what she said? Because Norm was sitting between Marianne and I. Do you know Brian had a life-size cutout of you in your shop? And Norm goes... because he calls me Curly, he goes, Curly, really? I was so embarrassed. Oh, but it was funny. Yeah.
I wish that I could learn how to, Ben, maybe you should try to figure this out for me. An entire video. I want a little miniature Sedge sitting on my shoulder and everything that I do.
No. That would be awesome. We need a green screen for that.
No. Do we?
We need a big green screen for that.
Whatever.
But we could totally do it though.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Whatever.
What, Sedge? I'll bring you some more subscribers over to Sedge Tool.
Oh, how nice.
Either that, or maybe one of the listeners or one of your followers is good at 3D modeling. We could just do a little 3D model of Sedge.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Ben, you know what time it is?
Hateful comments. Everybody hates Jason. Wait, hang on. Everyone hates Jason. It's my favorite segment. It's my favorite segment because I hate Jason.
Yeah, Nicole and I were listening to episode 2 in the car the other day, and I was like, "Hey, so episode 2, I don't use the voice, but episode 3, I come right back to it."
It's back. It's back.
It's back. It's back with a vengeance. I've got 2.
Okay, let's hear
Good. I don't have any this week. Any good ones?
So the first one is on my Biscuit Joiner versus Festival Domino, and let me set the stage.
Man, again, that's a hot one.
The point of this video was to highlight what the difference basically between a domino and a domino joiner and a biscuit was, because that was the most common question I was getting at the time. This video is old. Right? This was back when, Festival was still the F word, kind of. And so everybody wanted to know, well, couldn't I just do that with a biscuit joiner? Well, no, you couldn't, because it's not the same thing. And here I'm going to show you what the difference is. let me just read it. God, I hate and love this segment all at the same time. All right, here we go. Did anybody else notice that the first domino slot that was shown was anything but horizontal? Just after he say, it lines up just right. Well, Look again. He quickly puts his hand over the rear of the joint to hide the fact that the joint was not lined up. I had to smile about that one. I'm not done. We'll get to better. And just to be clear,
I had to
What
smile.
mean grammar? What mean grammar? What mean English?
Just to be clear, I read these exactly the way they are typed. So, let me recompose myself. Okay, here we go. I'm going to continue. This is so hard. Okay. Here we go. I has used biscuits and dowels for years. I'm not doing it in the voice. I have looked at the festoon domino many times over the years. I have never been able to justify spending that amount of dosh on it.
Maybe he's trying to use cryptocurrency. Dogecoin.
Yeah.
So I didn't know Festival accepted cryptocurrency.
Was it dosh or douche?
Then he says, have another watch of the video. 4.35 minutes through the video. Comment on what you see. All the best. Be lucky.
What? It's like
Yeah.
he tried to sweeten it up at the end there. All the best though.
So-
all this negative stuff. All the best though.
Wow.
So what had happened was, I was just showing one cut with the biscuit joiner to show what it does. Right, it's a blade that spins that goes in. You put this biscuit.
That's what it does.
Yeah, that's exactly what it does. I've heard it does that. I've never seen it myself.
I love it when people call
Sedge-
it biscuit.
Biscuit joiner. Bisquick joiner. It's like pancakes while
Biscuit.
you woodwork.
Biscuit.
So, when I did the domino, I just did one domino, and it was like a 5-inch long, 2 5-inch long scraps. I just plunged it in, and then put the two boards together. And where the two boards go together is right in the center of the piece, so they line up perfectly. And you will see that the front and back are slightly skewed, well, because they're just two scrap pieces of wood. And so it was just frustrating. Like if I would have put one on the front and on the back, it obviously would have been perfect, but that wasn't the point of the video. So some people just get too hung up on stupid things.
Some people just need a biscuit joiner.
But they just need a biscuit joiner. I spend way less dosh on that. All right.
I'm getting silly. I'm
The last.
sorry. I can't help it.
No, this is great. This is good podcast content.
Oh god.
The second one, this is going to give Ben, this episode, Ben, if you don't have tons of interesting, funny clips for IG promotion, there's something wrong. Yeah. So this one comes from How to Make Shaker Doors. The first video I ever posted,
It was
still
like
to
your
this day, gets lots of, it's the first video I ever posted that did really well for me. It changed my channel.
yeah, absolutely. I remember that one.
I actually love that video. It was really
I
good.
remember teaching you how to do that.
What?
I'm just joking.
Oh, so this one, this guy says, How to Make Shaker Doors. Dude, I make cabinets and you are giving out bad info to inexperienced people that will get them hurt. You should be using a router table to cut your channels out. Really? Really? Because the routers, just so much more safe. So much more safe.
You don't have to worry
than a
about
table saw.
kickback on a router table. You don't have to worry about anything bad.
Yeah, just a bit spinning, at a ridiculous amount. And what if somebody doesn't have a router table, guy? Like that. I hate YouTube, Ben.
Well, Jason, YouTube hates you too.
People are dumb. It's like, really? This goes back to the conversation that we had. I can't wait I have like 2 or 3 more tool videos that I'm going to be releasing this year, like already scheduled. 2 of them are actually
I can't
scheduled.
wait.
One
One
is another one. Oh my God, I can't wait. Because one of them, I'm actually doing a video, and it's just 10 ridiculously expensive tools. And
But
it's
you need
just
to.
going to be.
You need to title it like 10 tools you can afford today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just watch people's heads explode.
I should title it 10 tools that if you had, you could do that too.
Oh, you guys are cracking me up, man.
Oh man, I've got so many ideas because people love it when I do tool videos. I mean, they really do. Like they always do well. People like it, and I'm in a good position where I do have a lot of really cool tools that everybody wants. So why not make videos about them?
The thing is when you do a tool video, you're actually helping somebody make a decision to actually look at it further because of your insight.
Yeah.
And we could do the same thing on the Domino, all three of us, and they would get great hits and great views because we all have a different insight on it. People are looking to pull the hammer on it, buying a Domino or not buy a Domino and stick with the biscuit. So
the biscuit joiner. Yep.
The biscuit joiner. So, and I'd be a hypocrite. I started out using a biscuit joiner, and I think it's a great tool.
I think just about everybody does.
It's not true long grain to long grain adhesion like a Domino is. It's a real piece of wood, the Domino. So I'm not going to lament on the Domino versus the biscuit joiner, but it is.
If you want to find out his opinions on the biscuit joiner versus Domino, go to sedgetool.com.
I'd have to get a biscuit
tool on YouTube.
I'd have to get a biscuit joiner, which I don't own.
Biscuit joiner. I'm pretty sure Patrick, Leather by Dragonfly, he calls it the biscuit joiner. He's a Marine, though.
Yeah.
He is a Marine. Maybe.
Chews on crayons for snacks.
Oh, so funny story. He wrote me last night. We were talking back and forth last night. He's going to love this when he hears it. And he said, so Jay Mouter, Mouter Woodworking, the one he works at Woodpeckers, and he lives, Patrick lives like right down the street from Woodpeckers. And Patrick and Michelle went and helped Jay recently with getting ready for like a little craft fair. And so I saw it because Jay like posted a bunch of really, really nice stories about it and a post about it. It was really nice. And I told Patrick, I was like, yeah, Jay's actually coming down here, I think on the weekend of September 11th. And he said something like, yeah, we helped him, Navy guy. And so I wrote back to Patrick and I said, yeah, it's probably nice to have so much in common with somebody. And he did not like that very well. Oh, good times. I love ragging on Marines and Navy and Air Force.
Because
basically
it's so
anybody
easy.
That's not Army. And basically anybody that's not Army infantry.
It's too easy to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I really feel like this is a really good podcast. I appreciate y'all's insights, and
they get better each time.
I just love hanging out with you guys. This is fun.
Yeah. I think it's good, man. I think I might spend a little bit more time in the shop this week. Maybe.
I was just talking to somebody about that the other day, and they were asking, like, he's kind of fallen off a little bit on the content side of it. I was like, yeah, but what I can say, I've noticed a difference since we've started doing this podcast.
Yep.
You can tell that you are more motivated to get back out there and do stuff, which I think is awesome.
This is a hack that I have for myself, which is I am what I consume. And so the more that I consume woodworking content, the more that I want to do it. Like, I'm so full into motorcycle content because that's all that I've been consuming the whole summer. But, after our conversation tonight, I might just put it on the back burner until I'm done with school. Because, like, with my kids going back to school full time now, I haven't had that in over a year where it's like I have the house to myself during the day. It's, they were always there, or, half the time they were there because of their school schedule, but now they're back full time. And so I have all this time back now. And so, and some of it too was like the lumber prices were ridiculous, stupid. But I don't know. I think motorcycle channel may take a seat back. So we'll see.
I mean, it's going to have to with the weather.
Yeah. I mean, it will, the winter time is my best woodworking time because I just can't ride. So.
Right now, just enjoy being on it. You know what I mean? Just enjoy riding it. Get some video. Save it for the future. bust your chops on the other channel that's actually making you some sort of profit.
Yeah, I think that's.
And when you have some more time,
Yeah.
focus on it. When you get a little bit more creative experience, go for it.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
All right.
Do you want me to do
All right,
the
gentlemen.
outro?
No, I'm
Outro.
gonna do I'm gonna do an outro. I'll do a pre-recorded, so we don't have to worry about it. But
Really? I don't-
Sedge. All right, Jason. Well, actually, you can go ahead and do it, Sedge or Jason. Go ahead.
No, if you're going to do a pre-recorded one, I only have one thing to say.
Well, it's only gonna be a call to action.
No, it's totally
Oh.
fine. I want you to do it. I just have one thing to say before we give it over to Sedge.
Yeah.
The guy Mike Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Screw that guy.
I'll bet you ain't right.
Oh, I
Jason,
can't
you
wait to hear
can't you can't just create a Thug Life video.
it. Thug life.
You can't just create it. It just happens.
I love
the
Mike
universe.
Coffee.
The universe begs it into existence. So.
If Mike Coffee and I were both single, and we have a man marriage where we both joined shops and just lived with each other as a couple of dudes and ate chicken wings and built woodworking furniture. God, that'd be the life.
Well, until that happens, Sedge, where can we find you?
SedgeTool.com. SedgeTool on YouTube. SedgeTool on Instagram. SedgeTool on TikTok. Festool Sedge. Festool Live. Festool Shop Talk. We're on Spotify, looking to get on Apple. We're all over the place. Come visit. Thanks.
Jason, where can everybody find you?
God, yeah, you had to start with him, didn't you? God, I'm gonna sound like a chump.
Start with the best.
Bent's Woodworking everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, my website. Yeah, Sedge is just... I mean, hold on a second. Do we have another hour for Sedge to tell everybody where you can find him?
Yeah, baby!
Clearly, Ben, you and I are doing something wrong.
Clearly.
Hey, Ben,
All right,
where
Ben,
can we
go
find
ahead.
you?
Where can we find you? Because now you have like 37 channels.
Well, you can find me and only me on at Ben Marshall Designs at Instagram and YouTube. Also, Adventures on Zero on YouTube. And I run the Green Suiters social media accounts. But we just want to thank everybody for all of their input thus far. We really do appreciate everybody's positive feedback and critiques for how we can make the show better. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. We literally could not do this show without you guys. Chad, thank you so much for providing the topic for this episode.
Chad.
I thought it was a really
Chad.
great one. If you, the dear listener, want to recommend a topic for us, become a $20 patron, the Last Clamp patron, and we'd love to take a topic of your choosing and turn it into an episode just like this one. And so until then, we will see everybody in the next episode.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Later.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Hey, this is Ben, co-host and editor of the Green Suiters podcast. This episode is over, but if you want to hear more topics like this, head over to patreon.com/the Green Suiters podcast for early access or listen to each episode for free wherever you listen to podcasts.